As the hours roll by towards Christmas Day, it hasn't been without its challenges. Hello, I'm Mike Bain from Christian Voice New Zealand. Now, I've just returned from a few days R&R in the nation's capital, drinking coffee and enjoying all that Wellington has to offer. Now, rather than returning home refreshed, I'm troubled and to some extent disappointed in myself. Well, let me explain. There I was walking down Lambton Quay. I encountered a couple of things which caused me some consternation. The first was a man dressed as an elf who invited me into a park area. Dodgy, I know, but that's where he and his PSA union member friends were offering free sausages wrapped up in bread, but there was a catch. I had to listen to their concerns about the new government's cutbacks and how they would soon all be without jobs. I dismissed the elf as I didn't want to listen, and B, I'd just had lunch. So I continued my walk. A few metres along, there he was. No, not the elf, but a beggar lying on a blanket. Now, my sister, who was my host in Wellington, said, "Don't look at him." Now, I don't do anything that my sister tells me to do, but when someone says, "Don't look," you look, right? So I did as I walked past, and I noted his blanket looked clean. He was wearing what I thought looked like a pretty new sweatshirt, and his jeans had come fresh out of the wash, but there he was, looking downright miserable and smoking a cigarette. Now, as I walked around the corner, I was passing on my observations to my sister, but what I was really doing was judging him, just like the hundreds of people who had probably passed by that day and possibly many days before. My thoughts since have gone back to that moment, and I've thought, why? Why was he there to look at you he wasn't your average beggar? It kind of surprised me that given the past 6 years of kindness from the previous government, people would still be on the streets. But why was he there? Was he down on his luck? Was he mentally unstable? Was he a victim of the cost of living crisis? But you know, like the hundreds of people who looked down on him, we're never going to know. Simply because I didn't ask the question. I didn't stop and have the conversation. I just passed judgment. I couldn't help but reflect on the elf and his friends from the PSA and wonder if any of them had offered this man a free sausage, or even if any of them had considered, given that their angst about their future, if they would be in a similar predicament going forward. If only I'd taken the time to stop and have a conversation with the beggar, I'd have a better understanding of why he was there. I may have been able to assist him. I don't know, because I never asked the question, never had the conversation. I couldn't even offer him hope for the future by telling him about the love that Jesus had for him and how he had pity for the downtrodden. Instead, I judged him. Some Christian I was. As we celebrate this time of the year, I keep coming back to the line, "Goodwill and peace to all mankind." As people hurried down Lambton Quay, some like me, professing to be followers of Christ, well, we're so involved and caught up in our own lives, we just don't see what is in front of us. And if we do, we'll just ignore it. Having a conversation with a beggar on the street, well, I know it's not everybody's jam, but over the Christmas period, I ask you to think about how many real conversations with others that you've had. I mean, real conversations, not just the texting or using Messenger, but taking the time to sit down and talk, understand, share with others your thoughts, your empathy. Now, how many times have you really been in conversation with your partner, your family? At this time of the year, when the focus is on Jesus, how many of us have stopped and had a real conversation with God? Thanked him for all the blessings that he's bestowed upon us, shared our joy and expressed our anxieties. You know, God is different. He knows all these things, but we assume we don't have to tell him. We don't even have to thank him, but we should. Like the beggar on the street, even the elf and his PSA friends, we should take the time to stop and ask the question, what can I do to help? In the Bible, there's an amazing story of someone who did just that, one thing. And the story, well, it's about the Good Samaritan who helped another when others walked by with their self-righteousness and judgment. There are many ways that we can help the beggars in life. We can stop and listen to their story. We can assist them by telling them about where they can enjoy a free meal, say on Christmas Day. But my challenge is, would you invite them to share Christmas dinner with you and your family? You know, showing goodwill to all is also about showing it towards your neighbour, who you know who will be on their own on Christmas Day. Sure, it's Christmas, but make sure you enjoy the festive time. Make sure you enjoy your family, but make sure you've included, but not excluded, Christ in your Christmas.